Welcome to the Warrior Word, the first and final word on Warrenton High School athletics. The Warrior Word is brought to you by Warrenton Kia and heard exclusively on 106.3 The Beach.
Welcome to the Warrior Word on 106.3 The Beach, your new home for the Warrior Word this season. It's brought to you each week by Warrenton Kia, and also thanks to our additional participating sponsors each week, South Jetty Dining Room and Bar in Hammond and Seaside Factory Outlets. I'm Sean O'Connor in the studio here with Robert Hopeful, the Warrenton High School Athletic Director, talking about all things Warriors fall sports right now. And we've got the football team to talk about, also a little bit of volleyball and cross country. And we'll start the show as we have been here in the fall season, talking about that football team who continues to struggle a little bit this year. They're 0 for 5 so far, Robert, and a little bit more offense this past Friday. But why don't we get your thoughts on Friday night's game?
You know, it's just another situation with a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about over the last month or so. Our offense continues to struggle, and a lot of that stems from a lack of experience. We're playing a lot of freshmen on both sides of the ball, and we a lot of times we'll be in the right positions, we'll make the right read, we'll do the right stuff, from an understanding standpoint, but it's the ability to actually carry it out. And a lot of that's 15-year-olds playing against 18-year-olds, and that's a huge maturity difference. I think about where I was as a freshman, or I look at a lot of our freshmen compared to our seniors, and there's definitely, there's a physicality difference there. There's a mentality difference there, and that's our big issue. Is I think some of it is just pure strength and athleticism. I have to give credit to our football program. They're working extremely hard in the weight room. You look at a lot of the kids who are in there, playing football, and compared to the kids who aren't, especially in that freshman class, and you can see a noticeable difference in the size and the strength that some of these kids have. Coach Edwards has them on a really good weightlifting program where they're getting 1,500 reps a week in the weight room, which equates to 6,000 reps a month. And he's been doing this since the summer with a lot of these kids, and so the strength thing, the gap is starting to close, but. It's tough when you haven't been doing that and other programs have, and there's a 4-year difference there. If you think about it, by the time you're a senior, that ends up being somewhere over 100,000 reps in a weight room or on the field that you just don't have yet. So that's our biggest issue. Defensively, we struggled a little bit on Friday. Corbett is a bigger school than us. It was a game that we knew coming into the season would be a challenge. It's a team that's been a challenge for us historically. They used to be in our league, moved out of our league when they moved up to 4A, obviously. And so we continue to play them in some sports, and we on a good year we can have a pretty good game with them. But unfortunately this year we were unable to really keep it close. When you watch the film, when you think about what we're doing, just so much of it comes down to that stuff. Our defense is working extremely hard under Coach Mike Larson to put themselves in good positions and try to make plays. But it's just hey, you're one-on-one and you're not maybe as big and as strong yet. It's tough to make that play. The good news for us is something we've talked about quite a bit over the last couple of years, on the Warrior Word, is that our football program's only got to win 2 games to make the state playoffs. And, because our league it has so many private schools that don't participate in football, we don't really have a league game until not even this week, but next week. Our first league game is next week against Portland Christian, and really, if we can beat Portland Christian, Clatskanie, and Rainier, we would win the league championship. If you can win 2 out of 3 of those games, you still go to the state playoffs. So, all things considered, they don't have a game that really matters as far as postseason play until 10-14, and they've been playing football since August. So it's really just an experience where they get to kind of build confidence and learn things and become a little better each week. And hopefully by the time you suit up on the 14th, you're ready to win a football game. This Friday is an exciting game for us in the sense that this is homecoming week, obviously one of the most exciting weeks for the kids throughout the year. Got crazy stuff going on at school all week. You got boo-boo tournaments. You've got dress-up days. You have kids making a fool of themselves. I think there was about 100 million gallons of glitter in our school today because one of the class unity item was glitter. Not a great idea for the janitors, but great idea from a fun standpoint. So we got a lot of cool stuff going on this week. We had our senior night in volleyball last night. Which we'll talk about in the second segment with Claire Bussert. The girls were able to pick up a win. We also have our homecoming football game this Friday versus Blanchett Catholic. Blanchett Catholic is an extremely talented school across the board in athletics. They're a 3A school, one of the better ones as far as just program stuff. They're always towards the top in the cup for this, the school with the best athletic program at our level. So it'll be a fun game. They're traveling out here. They're making the 4.5-hour trek from Blanchard Catholic to come play us, and it should be a very, very fun contest to come out and watch. Please come out and support our Warriors this Friday. We will have homecoming activities or festivities, probably going to have a barbecue of some kind, all that fun stuff, and it is our second to last home football game. A couple other things on the football side of things. We, like I said earlier in the segment, we are playing a lot of younger kids, but we do have some seniors that are working their tails off as well. Not this Friday, but next Friday against Portland Christian is senior night for the football team. If you want to come out and support the Warriors, please do so over the next couple weeks, because it'll be the last couple times those guys get to play at home. With that said, we'll be back for the next segment of the Warrior Word to talk Warriors volleyball with Claire Bussert and talk about potential league playoff possibilities, as well as in the final segment talking with Krista Morrill about all things cross country. We just hosted our annual rec race this past yesterday. So, we got a lot of things to talk about with both those sports. Thanks for joining us this week.
This is the Warrior Word, brought to you each week by Warrenton Kia. And also thanks to our participating sponsors, South Jetty Dining Room and Bar in Hammond and Seaside Factory Outlets. We'll take a time out here in the Warrior Word and come back and keep talking more Warriors fall sports on 106.3 The Beach. And welcome back to the Warrior Word on 106.3 The Beach. It's brought to you each week by Warrenton Kia. Did you know the 2016 Kia Soul was awarded the J.D. Power Award for the highest-ranked compact multi-purpose vehicle in initial quality for the second year in a row? Head on down to Warrenton Kia. Whether it's a new Kia or a top-quality pre-owned vehicle, Kia's Car Corners have you covered. And we're back here on the Warrior Word talking to Robert Hopeful, the Warrenton High School athletic director, on the Warriors fall sports schedule. Just talked a little bit of football there. They have their homecoming game coming up on Friday, trying to get their first win this year. And Robert, you've also got a couple of your student athletes in the studio here with you. And before you start talking with them, let's get to the latest student athlete of the week.
Yeah, as of the last 3 weeks, we've done Prep Athlete of the Week. Thanks to Warrenton Kia. They've been sponsoring it, giving a $50 Nike gift card to the winner of each week. So far, our winners have been Landry Meathy and Claire Bussert from volleyball and Luke Lillenwall from cross country. This week's winner of the Prep Athlete of the Week is Kaisa Lillenwall. A freshman, also the sister of Luke, an exceptional runner. She's been doing a heck of a job for us. She's come right in as a freshman and really kind of set the tone for pace and for speed for our cross country team. I believe she finished 7th in the rec race yesterday on the girls' side of things, which is an incredibly good job. Luke actually finished 2nd. Kind of a sibling dominant family in the cross-country world for us right now, and they're doing a really, really good job. So congratulations to Kaisa, a very deserving winner. Not only is she a good athlete, but she's a great kid, a kid who's obviously a freshman in the high school this year, but from my experiences has a really good demeanor and a really good attitude, fun to be around, and very deserving of this award. So once again, congratulations to cross-country runner Kaisa Lillenwall. Yay! Yeah, absolutely. Get hyped. With that said, we're gonna transition in this segment talking to a little bit of Warriors volleyball. And our volleyball stuff is really exciting right now. We were able to pick up back-to-back wins. I'll bet one of them on a forfeit, but we'll take what we can get in league play. We got Claire in the booth today. We're going to discuss some Warriors volleyball. Before we get to a little discussion with Claire, I do want to acknowledge the 4 seniors who did have their senior night last night in volleyball. I can't believe that we're already at senior night and it's now already passed. It's a rare show this week. We're recording on a Wednesday, so we actually already played our Tuesday game, and that was senior night last night on 10-4. But we have 4 seniors who are all huge parts of our program over the last 3 or 4 years. Kids that are all really, really good kids on and off the court. We're definitely going to miss them. I'm very happy they were able to win 3-0 last night against Riverdale in their final home volleyball game because it's always nice to leave on a win. Those seniors are Landry Meathy, Sierra Lyons, Katie Blodgett, and Asia Lambert. All 4 of them are starters this year for the volleyball team. Landry plays some outside hitter, can really bring the thunder, hits the ball very well. Probably overall our most established athlete in the school. She was first team All-State last year in softball. She's been a 3-year starter on the basketball team, and a very good chance of being a 4-year starter on the basketball team. She's a 4-year starter in volleyball, and is, I would say, a pretty good chance of being all-league this year, either first or second team for volleyball. An exceptionally good athlete. Asia Lambert plays libero for us. For those of you not too up to date with volleyball, that essentially means that you can kind of do some different things rotation-wise, but also that you're mostly a passer. And she does a really good job for us. She gets a lot of great digs. I enjoy watching her play. Sierra Lyons is a bucket of energy. Plays extremely hard, is extremely fun to be around, is a great kid, very nice, very spunky. A lot like me, a little bit probably over the top with the energy, and that's what I love about her. But she's also having a fantastic season for the volleyball team. I think she's been our most consistent server, at least in the home games that I've seen. And somebody who's always picking up her teammates when things aren't necessarily going well, and just somebody that every coach wants on their team. Finally, Katie Blodgett playing middle blocker. Another multi-sport athlete for us, plays basketball as well. Somebody who works extremely hard in the middle, has had, I think, probably 4 or 5 good kills last night in big points. A kid who works really hard, like I said, and we're really lucky to have all 4 of those girls as part of our volleyball program. And we're lucky to have some of those girls transition into some other sports this year. Always sad to see people go, but always appreciative of the time they've put in over the last 4 years for Warrior Sports. With that said, as I mentioned briefly in that, we're able to beat Riverdale last night 3-0, and we via forfeit beat De La Salle this past Saturday 3-0 as well. Moving our league record to 4-5, our overall record to 8-7. It puts us in a situation where if we can win on Monday, we're gonna get in the top 6 in league. We play Clatskanie on Monday, who we also played on 9-13 and beat 3-0. We play them at Clatskanie this upcoming Monday, and if we are able to get a win, we'll transition into being able to play in the district playoffs, most likely as the 6th seed, which would put us against either PAA or Catlin Gable. With that said, got Claire in the booth today. Let's talk a little bit about last night's win against Riverdale. First and foremost, do you have anything you want to add about those 4 senior girls and what it's been like playing with Landry, Katie, Sierra, and Asia these past 2 years for you?
I'm really going to miss all of them. It's been really fun playing with them. They're all really good at volleyball, so it's going to be sad to see them go.
Absolutely, great kids, and that's something that's a sentiment not just from the adults in the building, but also the kids. Obviously, last night a good win against Riverdale. It's a team that we've had success with traditionally in volleyball. I think for whatever reason they don't put as much stock into volleyball as they do some other programs. What was the key to the victory last night? What allowed us to find some separation and eventually win that match 3-0?
Well, we were just all playing pretty well in general. We were making most of our serves. We kind of struggled with that. But we just really wanted to win. I mean, it was our homecoming game, and it was our senior night. So we were just getting really excited and wanted to win.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's we've probably talked about this more with volleyball than just about any sport, but man, when the attitude and the energy is there, a lot of good things can really happen, especially with this group because they are pretty talented. They are a good group of volleyball players, and when their heads are in the right place, they can do some really good things. Like I said, we do have that big game on Monday with Clatskanie. It's a huge game. It's at Clatskanie. If you can go support the Warriors, please do so. I've had a lot of fun watching them play this year. They do play with a lot of energy. They play well as a team, and it's pretty exciting. They do have a big tournament this Saturday as well at Seaside with 15 other teams. It's a 16-team tournament, 4 pools, a lot of really high-level teams there. It's an extremely good tournament, which I'm excited to see how our ladies do. I know they're excited to go and compete and have a lot of fun with some schools that maybe we don't get to play very often. So definitely go support the Warriors if you're in the Seaside area this Saturday. That starts at 8 a.m. With that said, we got one final segment of the Warrior Word this week. We're talking with Krista Morrow about the Warrenton Rec Race. We're going to talk a little bit of cross country. We're going to preview a little bit of upcoming Warriors athletics, and then we're going to sign off. Thanks for joining us this week.
This is the Warrior Word, brought to you each week by Warrenton Kia. And thanks again to our other participating sponsors, South Jetty Dining Room and Bar in Hammond and Seaside Factory Outlets. We'll take one last time out and come back and talk more Warriors fall sports on the Warrior Word on 106.3 The Beach. And welcome back to the Warrior Word on 106.3 The Beach. We're talking about all things Warriors fall sports with Robert Hopeful, the Warrenton High School athletic director, and is brought to you each week by Warrenton Kia. And so we got started on the show talking about the football team and got a little bit of volleyball chat in there. And now, Robert, we're going to focus a little bit here on the cross-country team to end the show.
Yeah, first and foremost, we got Krista Morrill in the booth. Before I head into anything else, we don't really have a senior night per se for cross country. Our big home meet was yesterday. So real quick, Krista, if you want to just tell the listeners, all the seniors on the cross country team, and then I'll spend a second talking about each one.
We have Luke Lillianwall, Alan Martinez,
Jared Lewis. Yourself, right?
Yeah, myself. Ellie Schimbeck, Taylor Owens.
That might be all of them. We might be missing somebody. If we are, we'll definitely get them next week on the show. Saren Poshman. Yeah, absolutely. Saren Poshman, absolutely. So we had 7 seniors. With that said, all of those are good kids. I think we spent a lot of time talking about Luke when he got Prep Athlete of the Week, but probably our best runner in the school. I think he finished second yesterday on the boys' side of things, really working his tail off. A kid who is very coachable. Is probably his best sport swimming, which he does with Seaside. He's been in the state, finals or close to it in a lot of events over the last couple of years. Incredibly good kid. Alan Martinez probably works as hard as anybody on the team. I don't know how many times I've come into school at 6:30 and he's up in the weight room running on the treadmill and sprinting and working his tail off to get better. Jared Lewis is just a runner, man. The kid loves to run. He loves to get out there and work his tail off. A really, really cool kid. A fun kid to talk to. Very mature for his age. I enjoy being around him. Krista is probably one of my favorite kids in the sense that she does all the right things. I mean, she's easy to coach. She plays basketball. She's a kid you never have to worry about, and that's I think more valuable than anyone could ever imagine when it comes to coaching. She's a 4.3 student. She's just an incredible kid, an incredibly hard worker. And somebody that everybody loves being around. Ellie's the same way. Very similar. She's got close to a 4.0 GPA, if not above a 4.0 GPA. Works her tail off. Extremely coachable, and extremely nice and funny. I think Ellie's got really quiet humor. A great kid. I love to be around. Saren Poshman works her tail off out there running. She's very similar to Jared, just likes to be out there and work her tail off and have a lot of fun. And Taylor Owens is a kid who was new to us last year and has really come in and really established herself as a pretty dang good runner. Had a lot of success in the hurdles last year in track. And this year's having some success in cross country. So we're lucky to have that group of seniors. That group of seniors has really kind of put our cross country program on the map. I think when we look back 4 years ago when these boys and girls were freshmen, our cross country program barely existed. It was there, but we didn't have great numbers. And now we're in a situation where we have good numbers in both the boys and girls side of thing. And a lot of it comes from the leadership and the attitude and the hard work of those seven seniors. And so I'm proud to acknowledge them on the show, and just thankful that we had such a good group, and they'll definitely be missed, each and every one of them. With that said, we did have the Warrenton Rec race yesterday. We've hit on a couple quick results throughout the show. Like I said, Kaisa Lillenwall did finish 7th for the girls. Luke finished 2nd for the boys. I believe Alan finished 4th for the boys.
6th.
4th or 6th. Okay, 6th for the boys. So we had some good performances. For us, that's some really, really strong finishes. And it definitely shows the work that the coach Haley Esplund has put on with this team and their improvement. When I see them out there practicing, they're running intervals, they're sprinting on, every square foot of Warrenton, I've seen them running. I mean, they're working their tails off, and it's really nice to see some of the results start to show for that. Kind of tell us a little bit about the race yesterday and how you felt it went as a team, and any other thoughts.
Yeah, yesterday was a rough race, not only because it's different than all the other ones, because you're running on sand, you're running on pavement, you're running on the trails, but also the weather was not in our favor yesterday. It was blowing as hard as it could. It was pouring down rain most of the time, so everyone was really cold. Most of us were hiding in the back of my car and the back of Luke's car, just trying to stay warm. And but it was a fun race. We did run through a beehive at one point, and many kids got stung, including me. Wow. And which was an interesting experience, but everyone finished and everyone had a good time anyway, so it was a fun day.
It's a heck of a race. You got sand, you got cement, you got dirt, you got beehives, you got some strong winds and strong rain. I mean, that is a cross-country race if I've ever heard of one. Wow. I mean, that's some serious terrain. I think yesterday was actually like the first day all year that in the fall sports we've had bad rain. I was actually out at football practice yesterday, and I was talking to him. I was like, I think this is the first time on the Oregon coast all year that you've really had to practice in like bad wind and rain. And of course, for cross-country, their one home meet happened to fall on the first day of bad wind and rain. So, but that's what cross-country is all about. It's about toughing out the elements and having a little fun and finishing anyways and having a good time while doing it. Real quick, before we wrap up this week's show, you have anything you want to add about Kaisa Lillenwall, this week's Prep Athlete of the Week?
Kaisa, she's just an overall really great person. She's fun to be around. She's really nice to everyone. She gives all the girls a before race hug before we start, just cause she wants to, and she's just a super nice person to be around. So.
And she's also pretty fast.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, definitely deserving of the Prep Athlete of the Week. Anybody who gives hugs to their teammates sounds like the type of person you want in a program. Very, very excited to name her that this week. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's Warrior Word, where we talked football, volleyball, and cross country. We do have a big homecoming game this Friday with Blanchett Catholic at 7 p.m. for the Warriors at John Matilla Field. Please come out and support them. We also have a big volleyball tournament this Saturday at Seaside. Thanks for supporting Warrior Sports, and we'll see you next week.
That's going to do it for the Warrior Word this week, brought to you each week by Warrenton Kia. And thanks again to our additional participating sponsors, South Jetty Dining Room and Bar in Hammond and Seaside Factory Outlet. We will talk more Warriors fall sports next Wednesday. So for now, for Robert Hopeful, I'm Sean O'Connor saying you stay classy, Warrenton, and we'll meet you next time on the Warrior Word on 106.3 The Beach.
This has been the Warrior Word, the first and last word on Warrenton High School athletics. Brought to you by Warrenton Kia. Tune in Wednesdays at 6 p.m. for the Warrior Word, heard exclusively on 106.3 The Beach.